Hi, I'm Nick at GH Motorcycles, and today we're going to do an oil change on this FE250. It's a 2016 bike, so we've already warmed it up. It's ready to drop the oil and do an oil filter change. We've got the kit, genuine kit. It comes with everything you'll need: O-rings, oil filter, the strainer. So we've got 1 litre of 1050 oil. Before I do any more work to the bike, before we actually drain the oil out of it, we will dump the oil filter in the oil and just let it soak while we're draining the oil out. Gives it the best chance of no oil starvation when you actually start the bike back up. So the O-rings that are included in the kit, you've got 2 smaller O-rings which go on the strainer. So you'd want to dunk those in the clean oil. So we're just going to remove the dash guard. This bike is actually quite dirty, so before we drain any oil off or remove the oil filter cover, we are just going to give it a clean, just to try and stop any debris getting into that oil circuit. We just normally have a look at this for any debris, any signs of engine wear. This one's lovely and clean, so nothing there to be concerned about. To actually get the oil filter out, because you wouldn't be able to get it out with your fingers, is to use a pair of circuit pliers. You should be able to just gently grab and turn it. We've still got a little bit of oil residue sitting in the oil filter housing, as well as in the strainer. So what we're going to do is just spray some brake cleaner in there, lean the bike over towards me slightly, and just let that actually drain out and clean out. Okay, so there's a few bits here that we need to swap over. So we've got our oil filter end cap, the casing end cap. So we need to remove the O-ring. O-ring in the kit, and we'll dump that in some fresh clean oil. Just pop that on. We've got our oil strainer plug. So we'll just clean that off and remove the old O-ring from that. The new strainer, we'll just dump one end of that again in some clean oil and place that on the cap ready to go in. And we'll remove the copper washer from the actual drain bolt. Get that clean off. They are a magnetic drain bolt, so you do normally find they're a little bit dirty, but shouldn't be any real debris on it. And then once again place our new copper washer over that, ready to fit back to the bike. Got our drain bolt, and we'll just wipe the area around where that is to make sure it's nice and clean, and we'll torque that up to 20 Newton meters. The strainer, once again we'll just dunk the end of that O-ring back in some fresh oil. And place this in. With these you do have to be careful because you can get it in wonky, so if you just kind of gently guide it in, you can feel when it's in where it needs to go. Once again, so we'll talk that to 15 Newton meters now, as per the workshop manual. So before we put the oil filter in, rather than me dunking my hands in all this clean fresh oil, we're going to put the majority of the oil inside the engine, and then we'll go around, fit the oil filter, and then finish off with the rest of the oil. So obviously one end's capped off, the other end has got a rubber seal on it, so that actually needs to go in. We know that's nice and oiled, that just needs to go in and push home fully, so we'll just place that in. So what we'll do is we'll just place that over and gently place both bolts in, because what you can do is pull that O-ring into its housing slightly wonky, which could pinch the O-ring. So if you just gently seat them evenly, that should stop you from causing any oil leaks. And we also want to clean, now we've had this cap off, we want to just clean around that with a bit of brake cleaner, and then we'll just put some fresh oil on the O-ring of that as well before we fully seat it. So the bike's been running for about 5 minutes up to operating temperature. We're just going to let it sit for a couple more minutes and then we'll just double check the oil level, have a look around the oil filter housing, the drain bolt and the strainer, just to make sure there's no oil leaks and we're happy for the bike to go. That's the bike fully finished off. We've checked the oil level now it's been sitting for a couple of minutes. The sump guard is back on. We're happy that there's no oil leaks around the oil strainer, the drain bolt and the oil filter. So GH Motorcycles offer this service. You can do it as a ride in, ride out, or you can drop your bike down. Alternatively, if you wanted to do this at home, something you're confident in doing yourself, you can come in, buy the kit and the oil, which we stock.